Hi, this is Jerry.
And David.
And 7 ways that water and hydration are critical to improve your memory. Number 1, improves your blood flow. The improved blood flow. Why would that actually be true?
Well, it's interesting because I didn't really think about your blood gaining in substance, so to speak, when you don't consume a lot of fluid, but supposedly it does because a lot of toxins build up or oxidation can take place within your blood, right?
Yep, and it's collecting all this material throughout the body, and there's not enough volume in your blood to circulate properly. So there's another thing about it said if it's improved blood flow, that means there's enough fluid to also improve the endocrine systems and the lymph systems. So by doing that, you've really improved the quality of moving material around in the body. You're not sluggish anymore. In our clinic, I'm a naturopathic doctor. In our clinic, a lot of times we will see people who are pretty good sized people who walk in, they only drink 20 or 30 ounces of liquid a day when they should be drinking 100 ounces of liquid a day. And by the way, how much liquid are you supposed to drink?
½ ounce per pound of body weight.
It's, well, that's an interesting way to put it. It's 1/2 of your body weight in ounces. So if you're 100 pounds, it'd be 50 ounces a day. And that's of clean water. That's not your coffee and your beer and everything else. That's just basic clean water. And that will improve your blood flow. Now, number 2, what's the next one that it does?
Number 2 is, it leads into that, is toxin removal.
And when does that occur?
Well, when through the lymphatic system,
That's
which
right.
You're directly supporting it through the hydration, your blood flow.
That's right. So why is sleep important for the toxin removal?
Well, that's when a lot of it occurs during the sleep when the brain, as you were mentioning, is taking out the trash and rewiring everything for the next day.
Good. So that leads into if you have more liquid in your body, number 3 would be better oxygenation of the blood. Why would that be a factor?
Well, I think that the red blood cells are produced at a higher rate when it has more fluid in the blood or more H2O.
That's true because the bone marrow is where the red blood cells are made, and if they're properly hydrated, if they're not sitting there dehydrated, you're going to produce better quality blood cells, less mutated blood cells, and that's going to allow better flow into the tiny capillaries and micro exchange points, gastric exchange points inside of the lungs. It also will facilitate more of toxic removals by the kidneys because the more liquid there is, the finer that material penetrates into those very, very tiny veins and capillaries in the brain as well as in the liver and the kidneys and the other parts of the body. Okay, so that leads us into less inflammation of the cells.
Absolutely.
So if you improve the amount of liquid you have, then the cells themselves are not a little bit sick and puff up because they can't get the fluid that's toxified from their biological processes. They can't get it out of there. It's called cell respiration. And if you don't have enough hydration, cell respiration falls as toxicity rises. So the cells become inflamed.
I was going to ask you about that. When the inflammation of the cells occurs, do you believe it's because they're trying to gain as much like liquid or fluid that they can? They're kind of stretching out, or is that a reaction for the cell somewhat dying at that point? Or?
No, I think it's a reaction of the cells puffing up because they can't get rid of the toxins that they have.
Okay,
and it's almost like the cap's blowing off a bottle of kombucha or as homebrewed beer. You have a situation where there's things going on in the cell that really should have been removed from the cell, but it can't get out because there's just not enough hydration or flow of liquid to make that chemistry work better.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
those
sense.
cells will puff up. Now, is that a problem? We'll just ask anybody that has arthritis. I mean, those cells in the joints are puffed up, and when they are, you have red inflamed joints. And if you allow that to continue long enough, you have fingers that go off into odd directions because there's so much inflammation at the joints that it pushes the joints apart and pushes the fingers off in other directions, and the pain is excruciating. So that leads us into better liver function and brain chemistry. Obviously, again, taking out the toxins and providing the liquid fluid so that the liver. Now, what would you classify the liver as? What is it?
It's the filter for your blood.
It is. It's the largest blood organ in the body. The smaller blood organs are the kidneys, but the liver is the largest blood organ, and it processes all of the blood in your body several times a day. It flows through the liver, and the liver will add various endocrine materials to it. It will remove various other toxins, and if you don't have proper hydration there, that process slows down and toxifies the liver. An example of a toxic liver is somebody who drinks too much alcohol, and the liver becomes fatty liver. The liver tries to insulate itself by producing fat and putting toxins away to the side so that it doesn't interfere, and you end up eventually with a liver that's completely non-functional. And the brain is operated basically the same way. You don't have enough material removed out of the brain, toxic materials, so that you begin to have the opportunity for such things as dementia and Alzheimer's to present themselves. So why would there be a less chance, number 6, of diabetes, type 2 diabetes? Why would that be? Because of hydration.
I was curious about that. I was going to ask you if hydration is directly related to insulin production in the pancreas.
It is, and it's also directly related to getting the sugar out of the body. Because if you don't have enough water to float the battleship, it's not going to work. So in this case, if the pancreas and the liver don't quite have enough fluid to do what they're supposed to do, the idea of getting rid of blood sugar is not as effective. And so consequently, the liver and the kidneys and all of that system, blood system, is highly taxed. And it just really puts a lot of strain. And if you're eating the wrong materials and you are ignoring the signs of diabetes, you just keep going that direction and you're not drinking enough, that's a really, really negative thing to have happen. And number 7 comes in with better sleep. If we're going to try to get more liquid in our bodies and improve hydration, why do you think we'd get better sleep?
I believe because it's going to, as you were saying, take out the trash in a more efficient manner.
You got it. More fluid that you have flowing in your system to a point. Now, you can drown in your own tissues. I've actually seen people come into the clinic who are drinking too much water, and they end up having severe problems as well. But it's very, very seldom that I see that. But the better sleep is a result of good hydration. If you're older, you don't want to drink a whole lot of water before you go to bed, because then you're keep going down the hall all night. But if you can get enough hydration during the day, your body is equipped to take out the garbage during the time you sleep. Now, what do we refer to as the garbage? Well, any time that you are alive, you are producing toxins, you're producing oxidants, and you're producing lactic acid in the muscles and various other toxins because you are alive. And that's a normal thing. But if you're just not honoring that process and going ahead and having enough liquid, you're not going to be able to remove those toxins efficiently, and it's going to impact your sleep. because the body is not going to be able to do as good a job pulling that material out and throwing it away. So your sleep could be affected quite a bit over a long period of time. As the toxicity builds in your body, it's going to affect how you're able to sleep. Any other comments about hydration and improving your memory?
Well, I was going to ask you how you think hydration, how it's related to improving your memory as far as staying hydrated during and before and after exercise.
I don't know about improving the memory for that, but it's okay. The memory is a result of good health. The memory is a result of good hydration, a proper balance of blood sugars in the body, and 1,000 other things. But the point of exercise is that stimulates the body into helping the body rid itself of toxins and building good muscle and building endurance and improving the amount of oxygen that you take into your system. All of those things improve the capability of the neurons in the brain to do the job later on, to help you remember things. Because if you're foggy-headed because you're just not drinking enough liquid, your memory is going to suffer as well. And I've dealt with a number of people that said, this is really true. Now that I'm drinking 80 to 100 ounces of water a day, I seem to be able to find my car keys easier. Okay, well, if you don't take care of enough hydration, you're compromising your mitochondria. And your mitochondria is critical. That's the energy producing material inside every cell. If you start to lose that, a percentage of that, you're going to lose a percentage of your memory. So let's say you lost 10%. Well, the skin of your big toe has approximately 500 mitochondria per cell. The brain has in every neuron approximately 10,000. These guys are working real hard, and there's a big team of mitochondria working in every neuron to pull out as much energy as possible and give you the ability to think and remember. So the problem there is that if you damage the mitochondria, you toxify the mitochondria, and some of it dies off. Let's say you lose 10%. Well, in the big toe, now you've got 450 mitochondria, and nobody cares. It's not even going to it's not even going to make any difference when you're kicking a field goal for your soccer team. Doesn't matter. However, in the brain, you went from 10,000 to 9,000 mitochondria in every living neuron, and it just might be that now you can't remember where you parked your car in the parking lot. Who knows? It does have a significant effect on your memory. So stay hydrated, and as we always say, be well. We bring these videos to you every single day. Dave and I are working hard to answer your questions because these are based on questions that you have. And it's our job to do the very best we can. If you like what we do, please hit the like button. And if you like it even better, please subscribe because we put out these every single day. So until next time, be well.
Be well.